everyone, it's Margie DiPaolo, and this is the Choices with Margie podcast, where we have our guests come in and speak about our choices and how choices change our life. Are they great choices? Maybe not so good? How do they shape your journey? Do you stay the course or do you pivot? But it's all about how you react to those choices. So today, I'm so privileged to have our guest, Susan Fiandach. Susan is the owner of the Purple Door, and she's also a psychic medium. Our paths crossed when we both were in the spa industry, and Susan was a hairstylist with one of the spas that I worked for. And she was also doing her medium and psychic work at the same time. But I wanted her to come in today and just talk about her journey and how she realized she had this gift, because it is a gift. So welcome, Susan.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so excited that
me
you're
too.
here.
I'm so excited too. Thank you.
But I really just want to know, how did you know you had this gift?
So when I was a child, I tell this story this way. So when I was a little girl, I had what I called nighttime friends.
No.
Yeah. And I would wake up in the middle of the night and I would go out. I just lived in a little ranch home with my parents and my brother in Henrietta.
Okay.
We had just built the home. And I would go out there and talk to these people in the middle of the night. Go out with my little doll, sit down in my rocking chair and have conversations. My parents would wake up, tell me I was sleepwalking. I'm not sleepwalking, I would say. And then I would tell them what I was told. And my father had one of those very deep, deep baritone voices.
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't whisper. And so I would hear them in the next room. How did she know that that person died 10 years ago? Blah, blah, blah. This went on until I was about 11 years old. So it wasn't just a 3-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with that was, in the meantime, as I grew to know that I was supposed to have fear of this, I didn't know that initially. Right? I didn't know I was supposed to be afraid of those nighttime
So it wasn't
friends.
like the boogeyman.
No, until it was.
Oh no.
Yeah. So, as you get older, and the people that you love, the people that you revere, that you want to emulate, my parents were beautiful people, that they didn't understand it, so it must be bad. And so I got fearful of it.
So when you had these people, spirits, visit you, were they the same spirits?
They were same, different, didn't know who they were. To this day, I probably couldn't tell you. I mean, there's a few I could tell you who they were, but for the most part, it was just like guests. It wasn't every night. It was probably 2-3 times a month.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a constant in my life. When I got older, as I got to be that 10, 11, 12 years old, I think I was able to then, my brain sort of maybe realigned somehow, I don't know, and I was able to block it out.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of fear, though. I spent a lot of my life sleeping on the floor between my younger brother was then born, between their beds on the floor, because I didn't want to stay in my own room. I was scared.
So you didn't have these visitations in the other rooms, just your bedroom?
No, it wasn't in my bedroom. They would come into my bedroom and tell me to come out.
Oh.
So after a while, I didn't want them to come into my bedroom. So then I went into my brother's rooms. Yeah. Yep.
So how long did you sleep in your brother's rooms then?
I would go to bed in my room, and then when everybody went to bed, I would get up and go, and that went on for years. Years.
So when did you know that you had a gift to see these spirits in other people's lives?
So it's kind of an interesting story, and it's a change story for me, because I spent so much of my life pushing this away,
Mm-hmm.
right? Pushing it away. I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear it. I didn't do the normal teenage things at slumber parties because I feared it,
Really?
all those games that you play. But in 2001, I'm married. I've got 3 children. I've got my life, and I'm hairdressing.
Right. Because you were a hairdresser for
40 years.
For a long time. Because
Yeah,
I
since
saw
I
you
was
at the
18
end of
years
your
old.
career. I met you
Mhm.
at the end of your career.
Yes.
And you had a large book.
Yes, yeah, 40 years worth of clientele,
Yeah.
right? I should have had a large book at
Yeah.
that point. But in 2001, I got very sick, and it was actually Memorial Day 2001. I got sick in the middle of the night. As the week progressed, I got sicker, and then Friday of that week, I don't remember, but I remember becoming aware in the hospital My husband had brought me to the hospital, delirious, the whole bit. Over the weekend, well, they sent me home. They thought I might have had meningitis. I don't know why you send somebody home. But anyway, they sent me home. I don't even remember getting there. Next day, they called me back and they said, "You're very sick. You have an infection in your blood that's tested gram negative," which I didn't know what that meant. I thought, yay, negative. It's very bad, apparently. Went back into the hospital. They performed all kinds of tests, could not figure out what was wrong with me. And over the course of Saturday to Sunday, I truly believe I had a near-death experience, because I had a very profound experience that took me out of the hospital space. It took me out of my body, showed me a lot of things. It's a long story, but there was a whole lot of very profound information that came through that. And I then asked, am I dead? And this energy, spirit, whatever you want to call it, that was with me said, you got to go back. It's time to go back. You got to, and then boom, it was, I was, and like gasping for air. So I don't know how long of a period that was. I have no idea. But what ended up happening after that, thankfully, they found out what it was. I was able to go back to work after about 6 months. I had an infection that actually grew inside of my heart. It's called acute bacterial endocarditis. So I have damage in the mitral valve of my heart, which I'm fine. It's, 22 years ago. Mm-hmm. But, it affected me greatly. I realized that when I went back to work, now as a hairstylist, you sit down in the hairdresser's chair, and the first thing we do is we both look into the mirror, right, and our hands go on your shoulders, right, or we fluff up your hair. We start touching. We right. touch you.
And there is an energy there.
There is an energy there. Hairdressing is one of the only professions, legal professions, that is non-medical, that people can touch you physically.
Yeah, and I also believe, too, that there's so many professions, even like in my little job at Chico's, sometimes I say, I feel like I'm a psychiatrist.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Because you're talking people off a shelf, right, where they're like, I hate my body. I hate my hair.
Yep.
Oh, my God. And then they tell you all their secrets.
They tell you everything. Mm-hmm. Things you maybe don't want to hear, but they tell you anyway. But so I realized that what was happening was, as I'm talking to them, I'm preempting conversations without realizing I was doing that. Oh my gosh, congratulations, when are you due? We haven't told anybody. We just found out yesterday. I'm so sorry about your brother that just died. Oh my God, he just died. We haven't told anybody. That kind of thing that went on. And so I realized I needed to get a handle on it. I did not like being in somebody else's space without their permission.
So prior to 2001, when you were doing people's hair, you didn't have any of these energy feelings at all?
Oh yeah, I did. But I think I didn't realize, I didn't attach it to it. I always knew that I was good at sort of reading people, but I didn't look at it in a psychic perspective. So
were they always positive feelings, or did you get some negative feelings, energies from people?
Well, yeah, of course. Sure. Absolutely. It's not, everybody isn't sunshine and roses. Everybody isn't in a great mood. Right? You have to kind of, as a hairstylist, I had to learn to move through my personal opinion of the person sitting in front of me and just sort of go with what was happening at the moment.
And then just give them a really bad haircut.
Yeah.
I don't like
try not to do that. Yeah, so, I always figured that if somebody was really crummy, like I looked at them and, man, you're a really crummy person. Nasty. I tried to look behind that sort of nastiness. What's going on in their life that's making them that way, and how can I change that narrative? Yep. So that was my, how can I just, even if it's just, oh my God, you look so nice today, right? Or, oh, I love your jacket. And it just gives people a little bit of opportunity. But that's basically my story. And so by 2007, I had been diving headfirst and started to professionally do the work of the psychic medium. So at that point, I was starting to pull hours back from my salon career and place them into my psychic career. And so then in 2018, we met in, must have been 16 or 15, something like that. 2018, I blew out my shoulder.
I remember that.
Yeah, it was awful. And At that point, I was working, 13 hours a week. Really very little, but doing a lot in those 13 hours a week. And when I had the shoulder surgery, the doctor said to me, this may end your career. This may end your hairdressing career, but we won't know for probably 4 to 6 months. Well, at the end of 6 months or 5 months, whatever it was, I went to see him and I said, when can I go back to work? He said, well, probably in a month or so you'll be able to go back, but I'll see you next year. And I said, oh, for a follow-up? He said, no, we'll do the other shoulder. Because if you continue to work, your other shoulder's going to go too. And I said, I think this is my done moment.
When did you open the Purple Door?
The Purple Door actually opened in 2007. So Connie Wake is the original owner, founder of the Purple Door. She opened it in 2007. It's right about the time that we met and started to do some work together. And so I've been a part of the Purple Door since probably really about 2008.
Okay.
And then over the years, then we joined forces and partnered up.
And have you always done readings out of the Purple Door?
I used to do them out of my home.
Okay.
So I had an office in my home. And way back when I started all this, I was a part of a spiritualist church. There's a spiritualist church downtown that I was a part of. And I would go there and do readings as well. No longer a part of any religion with my work. But
is that a conscious choice not to be part of a religion? Or?
Yes.
Well, do you believe in heaven?
I guess I believe in heaven, but not in the traditional sense. I was raised Catholic.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'm a Catholic.
Yeah, exactly. You're very, very much still part of it. I still consider
part of it in that I think there's a reason that I'm singing.
Yes, of course. Your voice is your gift, right? So, I think in my understanding through my experiences, through my near-death experience as well as the work that I've done for all these years now, that I believe heaven is a state of being, not necessarily a different place. I believe that when we pass, we are all with our loved ones. We're all still here. They're all still here. It's just how do we consider them? How do we think of them?
So then what is hell then?
I think hell is the same. How do we think of them and how do we consider them? So let's think about Hitler. Probably one of the most universally hated individuals, or worldwide, I should say, hated individuals. Of course, there are people that still emulate him, unfortunately. But, if Hitler's energy or spirit had to be anywhere, he would most likely be experiencing negative talk, negative vibes regarding the life that he lived as that individual, as Adolf Hitler. Mother Teresa. People don't really have anything bad to say about Mother Teresa, right? So when people say Mother Teresa, it's more of oh, Mother Teresa, beautiful woman, right? So to me, that's our heaven and hell.
So as far as religion goes, do you feel that there is a psychic belief that can be part of a religion? Or do you think it's separate?
No, I guess it's separate to me, because I do not believe that my abilities, I know you called them a gift, and thank you very much. I don't call them a gift. I just call it an ability. You have the ability of the voice, right? Your ability is the voice, and you have a very gifted ability, right? My ability is seeing things that really other people might not see or experience, and communicating with that. So to me, it's an ability that I'm gifted in, right? So I can do well at it, right? So I really feel like when I'm doing my work and when I'm thinking about what this is, it's my nature. So religion is my faith or belief system that I have that's between me and God or creator, higher power. But my ability is just my nature. So I don't see where religion fits. But I understand your question.
Yeah, but do you believe there is a higher power?
I do. Yeah, absolutely.
Is it a female or male power?
It's funny. Is it transgendered? I don't know. I feel like I don't know that it has a gender.
A gender energy. Me neither.
Yeah.
Me neither.
Yeah.
And I've always felt that.
I believe that source energy, God, is more of a neutral. It's more neutrality, really, than anything else. It's the aspects of the female and the aspects of the male all together in a balanced perspective. And so that's why the non-judgment, and that's why the love, and that's why the free will.
Or as I say, you do you.
Yeah, exactly.
I told Dominic that in my podcast with him. I believe you do you. So when somebody comes at me with a negative energy and starts saying stuff that I don't particularly agree with, I'll usually say, well, good luck with that, and you do you.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
I don't want that on me.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly.
So give me an idea how you go through preparing for readings, because sometimes you do, like when you did a party at my house, there was like 8 women there, so you're going through So how do you do that?
So I think to be perfectly frank, I think that my hairdressing career allowed me and prepared me really truly for this, because every 15 minutes to half hour there was a new conversation in my chair. And so my mind was used to, my brain, the activity of my brain was very used to moving from conversation to conversation, ending one, starting another, finishing one more, then ending that. So,
and dealing with those different energies.
Dealing with the different energies. Yeah. So the ability to not let that energy affect this energy. Right? So to go into a reading, I try to bring myself into just a neutral state. So I check myself first. Do I have a headache? Do I have am I angry at somebody? Right? Those are my emotions. Those are my physical feelings and my emotions. When somebody comes in, the first thing I do is I say an opening statement or prayer beforehand, because I want the person to know what I'm looking for, which is all about good things and help and comfort. I will identify anybody that I experience that's in the spirit side with them by gender. And then I will start to talk about them and then ask them where they want to go. Do they want to talk to those that have passed, or do they want to communicate about life?
No, the future.
Yeah. Now, it's funny because I just have to express that. So in the future, New York State does have a law in the books that there is no fortune telling. Fortune telling is illegal in the state of New York. So we could talk about guidance for the future, validation for where they want to go, probability, possibility, and opportunity.
And is that a feeling that you get, I don't know if that's the right word, is that an energy or feeling that you get through sensing where they need to go, or?
No, it's really sort of following a path. So in my mind, when I look at someone psychically, I look at psychic information of the life. Past, present, opportunity, potential for future. So when I'm looking at you, the first thing I may do is try to go back to your past. I'm going to look at what your past was, what brought you to today, and then what are the possibilities and probabilities that are going to happen for you in the future. Because
I talk to everybody. That's what brought me to today. I talk too much.
No, you don't.
What, I'm just kidding. So, how many people, when you do readings, cry? Because I cry all the time. And Dominic makes fun of me because in almost every podcast, I just feel people's empathy. I just feel that, So.
Yeah, you're a very empathetic individual. And so, for me, honestly, if I do,
cry right now.
So sensitive.
Oh, you're so sweet. And I didn't bring any Kleenex.
Oh no. Well, so every one of our rooms, we have 12 readers at the store. Every one of our rooms, we are armed with tissues, and we empty our waste baskets at the end of every day.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So it's very heartfelt, the information, and sometimes it's just they get to talk to that loved one again.
Wow.
Oh yeah, they get to talk to their pet again, or get information from their pet. That's something that happens often. They're validated in where they think they're going. They're comforted in something that happened, or they're given hope that there's a future. So all of those things will bring up emotion.
I know at the spa, the massage therapists, and even the estheticians at the fish would say people cry all the time in the massage.
Because it's a release.
Yeah.
It's like a purge.
It's like they would constantly say, oh my God, that lady was crying so much. And people didn't understand. I'm like, I get that.
And sometimes that's the only human touch that person's going to get.
See, I hug people at Chico's all the time.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking, that lady hasn't been hugged in a while. She needs a hug.
That's your empathy. You can feel that and you know it.
And then they're like, oh,
Yeah.
thank you for hugging me.
Yeah.
You're my new friend.
Yeah.
But I know, I'm like, yeah, I'm your new friend. Whatever. You just come back in and see me. So when you do these big psychic cruises, talk a little about that, because I think that's exciting.
Oh, when we've done the cruises?
Yeah.
We do a lot of different events. So we did a few. It's funny because we were on the Colonial Belle on the Erie Canal. And
now, do you have the whole boat?
The whole boat was ours. Yeah,
Wow.
so we had 90 people
Wow.
on the cruise.
That's a lot of energy.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was so much fun. And
How
really
many
it was
psychics?
just
Sorry, how many psychics did you have on there?
We had 2 working, myself and Connie, and then
Okay.
we had 2 others that were of helping, support, and walking through the audience. But we booked that cruise, and in what was it, 5 days, it was sold out, and we had a waiting list. So we booked another. That one sold out in a week. So we booked a final one, and they actually took us just to the edge of their time when they're supposed to
not be on the canal.
Right. So we couldn't do the whole canal because the locks were already being closed.
Yeah.
But we did 4 cruises in that one season because it was so popular. We had a ball. We had an absolute ball. Now
so are you standing in front of everybody and doing them like
Yes.
kind of like what's her face, Teresa?
Yes. Yep. It's called
So you're
gallery.
not doing like little tables like a
No.
psychic event.
No. So we do a gallery event. So it's really a night of entertainment.
Oh, okay.
So what we do is we give everyone like a raffle ticket, and we pull the raffle ticket number, and that way there's no thoughts of, oh, they hated me, they didn't like me. It was just the luck of the draw.
Right. Wow. Oh.
Yeah. But we do breakfast events as well. We've done several at a little cafe out in Brockport called Grinds 122. And then we've done several at the Avon Inn, which is beautiful. And that's where people come in and they have this beautiful breakfast buffet. And then Connie and I will do the gallery style readings, but then we've got our 7 to 10 readers in another room. So everybody gets a reading as well as the entertainment of the gallery.
So I know Susan has written a book. What was the name of your book?
Yes, 2 books. So the book is called Everyday Conversations, The Key to the Contemporary Medium. And that book is all about unlocking the myths of what psychic mediumship is. Myself and my business partner, Connie, wrote that. And that was in 2014 that was published. And then it was 2017 that we put a workbook together. It's the same title, only it's the workbook. Mm-hmm. And it's basically a class I've been teaching for 15 years in workbook form. And that's been very popular. It's on Amazon. It's in the store.
And we're going to put a link onto this podcast for the Purple Door and for Susan if you want to, book a reading with her. And you can also do that through the Purple Door.
You can do that right through the website, thepurpledoorsoulsource.com. Right to our website and book online.
The Purple Door, I was just there the other day and I bought a whole bunch of red cardinals, and it's not so much that. I love all that stuff. Yeah. So tell everybody what you carry there.
So the store, we are a psychic center with retail. So we have a huge classroom. We have several offices with the readers and our energy wellness as well as massage therapy. And the store, the retail area of the store is really very sort of inspirational. We do have the metaphysical side of things. We have the crystals, which are very popular. Crystals and minerals, candles, incense, sage, that kind of thing. So we have a whole lot of that. And then we've got a lot of gift items, things that people would purchase to make themselves feel good or to give to another person to offer healing, inspiration, that kind of thing. Plus just fun stuff.
Yeah, because there was some cute jewelry in there too.
Yeah, we've got some really nice, a lot of local artisans are depicted at the store. So
Dominic wants a reading, right, Dom?
Yeah.
I was like, I want a reading, man.
What is my future?
Right? Yeah.
Dom has good energy.
Yeah, he does. He's like, oh no, I don't know. I don't know if I do
scared?
or not.
What?
You're getting scared.
I don't know what to feel. I've never even thought about getting a reading.
You never had a reading before?
No, I've never had a reading before. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I always cry. What else was new?
Yeah.
I'm always like, oh, tell me, Mama.
Yeah, right.
One time I had a reading in the woman. This was in remember when they used to do them at the Holiday Inn down near the airport?
Yeah, the psychic fairs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the woman said something like, Gertrude, my grandmother, is trying to reach you, and Ruth, my mother.
Oh, perfect.
I was like,
yep.
What?
Yeah.
Because those aren't normal names.
Right. Names
it's not like
are
saying,
awesome.
hey, Mary's trying to reach you. I'm like,
yeah.
No, Gertrude and Ruth. And I almost died. I was like, oh my God.
That's awesome.
And sometimes you have them where you're like,
I don't know nothing you're
I
saying.
don't know what you're talking about.
Yes. Yeah.
What you talking about, Willis?
And
It's like,
and that is not necessarily
bad thing.
a bad psychic. So, there's people that you can communicate with anybody, but sometimes you feel like you're trying to pull teeth to have a conversation with somebody, even sometimes someone in your own family. Hard to communicate, carry on a conversation. It's the energy. It's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing.
Oh. I was this is a whole nother subject, but I watched like on YouTube First Dates or whatever. Do you ever watch that? First Dates? Oh my God, I love it. But I always watch these couples that first meet, and I'm like, they have such difficulty talking. I'm like, why do you have such difficulty talking? Just talk.
Yeah.
Just talk.
But what do we call that? Chemistry, don't we?
But I mean, even
if you don't have chemistry.
But I could talk to.
You can talk to anybody.
The wall.
Right.
Like,
but sometimes it's
color
like,
is that painted? What color are you painted?
Because you can pull a conversation out of somebody.
Uh-huh.
The other part of that is, for some reason, people have been told for years and years, when you go to a psychic, say nothing. Don't say anything. And when you're having a conversation with somebody, if I'm talking to you and you're just looking at me stone face and you're not engaging with me in any way, shape, or form, I'm going to find it very difficult to continue my reading for you because I'm personally put off of the lack of
connection.
Yes. Can they still read for you? Yeah. But it's going to waylay the reading. We do not want you to tell us your story. Right? But when we say to you, I've got this, do you understand? All that's expected is a yes or no. Right? And that's all it is. But skeptics are welcome. Cynics, maybe not so much.
Well, I feel like that's the truth in life too.
Absolutely, exactly.
It's just I'm okay, but don't be cynical with me because I will take you on at the knees.
Yes.
So, what's your future? What do you feel like the big picture for you and the Purple Door is?
So, we've worked really hard. We sort of had 5 years ago. We actually sat down and we had the next 5-year plan, and part of that 5-year plan was to have our readers out in the community. Connie and I spent a lot of time just traveling all over out in the community. We're still out there doing lectures and continuing education and library programs too, and all that included. But our goal was to have a bank of really good readers that we have certified.
How do you choose them?
Well, we have a class. We have classes that are ongoing, and then the people have to work to be certified. In other words, there's affidavits, there's forms that every reading would fill out. They have to have done a particular number of classes, and they're basically tested. So we're very fussy about who we have with us. And we've got 12 now that are out there, plus more certifieds. So the goal was to have them out in the community. So to have the Purple Door expand beyond the walls of the Purple Door.
What does the Purple Door mean?
The Purple Door was just Connie's thought of she watched a program and they talked about a door, some kind of door or whatever, and she thought purple being like a spiritual color, even in the Catholic Church, purple is very spiritual. Yeah. And then she thought opening the door. No, that's why she named it the Purple Door. But that was our goal first, and to move into a larger space and have a larger classroom and have more engagement within the community. COVID hit and we thought, but it didn't stop us, and I'm very thankful for that. We kept on pushing and we got that plan, and we're in our new space in the Winton Place. The next phase of this, there's another book that'll be coming out. We are traveling some, going to some different states and doing some work in outside states, which is great fun. And then just really kind of getting our message out. It's a little bit different from the sort of new age message.
In what way?
In the way that New Age is really sort of a religion itself. So it's all about, where the energy of the spirit goes. It's about, it's really religion sort of veiled.
Yeah.
If you don't do this, there's ramifications. If you do this, there's ramifications.
Right.
Guilt. If you do that, you have to protect yourself, and you have to light a candle, and you have to do all this stuff. There's a lot of ceremony around it. When if you look at this ability as just a part of your nature, it's just ceremony. It's not, it's just nature. It's not ceremony. When you've had a connection with someone or you've had a thought, it just happens in your daily life, right?
Right.
You don't do anything to make it happen.
So, have you ever been connected in any way to Lilydale?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Our books actually, the first book I was talking about was a bestseller in Lilydale for a couple of years.
Lilydale, by the way, is a huge psychic community is it Dunkirk?
It's just outside of Fredonia.
Outside of Fredonia,
Right, yeah.
which when you drive through those gates, it's like a very weird feeling.
Yeah. Lilydale's a spiritualist community.
Yeah.
And
got a lot of history.
It's a little island, really.
Yeah.
So you drive through the gates, and there are people that live there year round. And then there are mediums that own homes there that just come in for their season which is starting next week, I think. Yeah. And it goes through Labor Day. But yeah, so we teach there. We've taught there. We're actually just putting in a bid for a class for next season.
Oh, cool.
So we haven't taught there since COVID, but a lot of things changed since then.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you for coming in. And what percentage is women readings versus men?
Well, that's interesting. So
I'm sorry,
when
that
I first
popped into my
started,
head, because I'm thinking my husband would never get a
women
reading.
truly predominate. Women will predominate.
Yeah, because they want to know. Men don't want to know.
Yeah, well, yes, and men don't want to be, scammed. Really, the men are very skeptical. Yeah, but it started out when I first started doing this. I probably had 90% women, 10% men. Mm-hmm. Now I'm probably at 70 to 75% women, 25 to 30% men. Yes, and so it's changing. I think men are understanding more about who they are, especially younger men.
Yeah,
they're a little more able to say, "Hang on here, I can be in touch with my sensitivity." But I'll tell you what, when a man comes in and you watch them just sort of melt into the chair, it's like they're releasing so much
that they've held in.
Yeah.
My husband, I swear to God, if you stuck a pin in him, he'd fly around the room. He's got so much. Kevin won't understand. But I swear to God, my son is more empathetic. He's an empathetic guy, and
the generations have.
But I worked hard for that one, and I think you're empathetic too, John.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, you are. You're just you can feel it. But Susan, I want to thank you for coming in.
Thank you so much.
Go see Susan at the Purple Door. Go see her shop in Winton Place. And her link for her books and for the Purple Door and for readings will be on our podcast, Choices with Margie. And you've been a gift today. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. Thank you.